All right, hello TrustSwap community. Jeff Kurdakis here. Hope you guys are having an awesome day. This is going to be Ask Me Anything, AMA number 3, where you guys just load up dozens upon dozens of questions into the Discord. I'm going to go through them. I haven't read them yet. I like to keep it that way. I know it might be more strategic on my part to read them and formulate these really crafty answers, but I think it's a lot more authentic if I can just read through and then you guys can see my actual reaction and real live time response to these. So I haven't read through any of these and going to be diving right in. First off, I do want to point out something that has happened in the market. Obviously, we just saw, if you haven't been familiar, Sushi total, the rug pull, mean exit scam, or the founder just sold all of the tokens. I think this speaks massively to how we need a gold standard in crypto for teams locking in their tokens. Right now, TrustSwap is still in the build, kind of like the pre-phase of everything. Once the mainnet comes out and our software goes live, guys, I cannot emphasize enough how much I believe, and we're going to be driving forward to get people to actually use this software and for TrustSwap to really become a foundational pillar in the crypto ecosystem. You have team token locks, you have investor vesting periods, and you have DAI-COs, event-based payments. That's $1 billion industry. Every project in crypto should be using these style of locks, these style of ways that investors can be safer. And let's not even talk about also Gilded, how we're gonna have transparent accounting. So, when you give your investment to projects, you wanna see where that's going. So our partnership with Gilded is gonna allow us to do that. So we've built an entire $1 billion ecosystem around essentially everything to do with crypto tokens. And we also have other $1 billion industries that we're gonna be tackling and are gonna be pretty much going live right in about the next week here. We have crypto subscriptions, so that's absolutely massive. I think that's one of the biggest hurdles to mainstream adoption. If I can pay in crypto easily, just a click of the button for my Spotify, my Netflix, obviously that's further down the road, but you can start off with, APIs onto WordPress websites, you can integrate with Patreon, tons of different ideas and ways that we can implement this. Again, easy multi-billion dollar sector. And then of course, the one that started it all, escrow payments, doing big multi-million dollar deal flow on a daily basis between institutions or venture capital and different projects. There's so much money that changes hands, and the amount of fees that gets charged for this is absolutely ludicrous, and the process is completely outdated. So we're gonna have a smart contract out there for people to use. I feel that is why team token locks don't exist in mass scale. Like, why didn't Sushi have team token locks? It's because they had to build it, they had to audit it, it takes time. They just wanted to develop, they wanted to deploy. The market was hot, they want to get rolling. A lot of projects in crypto just go. And so that is why we need to have these options available to these projects so they can just easily plug in and people can start demanding that happens. So I really see that is going to be something super valid coming up very, very soon. So let's dive into the first question here. Can we get a mainnet launch countdown? Sweet. Yeah, so again, kind of like as I was mentioning, so this is kind of the leak, you heard it here first. Our code has already been audited. It's already been audited. We're done. We have our staking contract. That audit should be completed by Monday is what Hacken is anticipating. So based on how this audit goes, we could be launching live sometime next week, very, very likely. There were a couple of UI updates, dropped my pen, that I wanted to go over just to make it a lot more user-friendly on the front end, but that's just a really, really quick integration implementation. So once we have everything from Hacken and everything is solid, then we will do a mainnet launch countdown. So hopefully that countdown can, the countdown to the countdown, the countdown can hopefully start on Monday or Tuesday or something like that. What happened with the staking rewards if the 50 million are full? Yeah, so there's a 50 million staking cap. Obviously, we only have 100 million total supply, so will that 50 million get filled? Who knows? If it gets filled, then yeah, you can't stake. So it's a 50 million staking cap, just so, kind of like, I really believe in incentivizing first come, first serve. That's maybe the wrong way to say it. I more so believe in incentivizing early adopters. So the people who are here now, you're likely going to get a chance to stake that 50 mil. We have about, let's say 25 mil between the dev fund and the team. So to fill that 50 mil, I don't think is going to be, it's going to happen right away. Next question, are we able to see how much amount the tokens exactly gets burned day by day after mainnet launch. Yep, so that's all visible on Etherscan. And we could probably build like a little, super simple UI interface counter that shows how much is getting burned, how much every day is getting burned. And really anyone from the community could build that too, to be honest. Just interacting with Etherscan, pretty simple. Next question, will airdrops continue to be given to those with 10,000 in holdings indefinitely, or will holding requirements increase with adoption? Right, so there's something we're doing called average daily swap held, ADSH. We should switch that to Dash. I think it'd be way cooler. Daily average swap held. That just sounds better. And so essentially how that works is there's not a hard limit of, okay, if you need to hold 10,000. So that's not relevant. And I think a lot of people know about this change upcoming. So let's just call it the Dash, the daily average swap held is going to be, so if you've held 10,000 since day one, or if you've held, let's just use 10,000. So this is just for illustrative purposes. It doesn't mean you have to hold 10,000. So if you've held 10,000 since day one, and then 60 days later, you're still holding 10,000, your Dash is 10,000. Well, let's say if, the first, let's say 25 days, you didn't hold anything, and then you purchased 10,000 on day 26, and then on day 50, your Dash would then be 5,000, because on average you've held 5,000. So you could just take those numbers, math it out, and you can also go into Discord. And I believe if you go into the bot spam channel, you can just go !ADSH, and we'll change that to Dash, and then put in your public key, and it'll tell you what your average is. Or you can just DM the bot directly if you don't want your public key exposed. Okay, Kramer says, can you go into a bit of detail about the team, how many people are assigned to which projects, and kind of give some realistic timeframes, i.e. no hype, just considered approach to the roadmap? Awesome. Yeah, really, really, really good question. Thank you for that. So on the website, the team looks very slim, but in reality, we have a ton of devs, a ton of people behind the scenes working on stuff. So let me see if I can kind of like break things apart on the dev side first. So maybe a huge misconception is that Adam is doing all the coding. That's 100% incorrect. So Adam is the CTO who's managing multiple dev teams. So we have a dev team for crypto subscriptions. We had a dev team who were building out the token locks and the escrow contracts. We have a dev team. We just hired on an exclusive dev team with 3 or 4 devs who are going to be working on the decentralized exchange. We have a dev team who is working on, it's just slipping my mind right now. We have obviously like the UI, the GUI, kind of like the front end dev team. So we have everything that we're launching. Like we have a specific dev team for that. So I think a lot of people said, hey, when we announced we're going to start building this DEX, people said, oh, SGAS, that's the other one. So like SGAS, if no one's familiar, it's to save fees on the Ethereum blockchain. Obviously gas fees were like $40 not long ago. So SGAS will allow you to have drastically reduced fees. So we got a single dev, boom, you're on that. That's your job. And so like Adam just kind of oversees it, making sure things are going well. It's not spreading us thin. So yeah, with the DEX, it's a completely separate team as well. They're just kind of doing their thing, spinning their wheels. So everything is like in its own little section there. On the dev side of things, then we have a really robust team in terms of business development too. So I won't go into everyone who's on the biz dev team, but man, if we had to kind of total everyone together, I'd say it'd be about like 20 people right now or so, including advisors. So it's definitely a fantastic team. And obviously you have the moderator team as well, who are doing a great job. So yeah, I think we're going to be updating the website with a few more team members. We'll throw on Luke, who we just onboarded, the number 2 man of CoinMarketCap. So number 2 man, I mean, like he was the second guy to come onto CoinMarketCap in behind the founder, Brandon Chavez, I believe it is. And then we'll also throw on Bradley Townsend, who's been like our rock star business developer guy, who's just been connecting us to all these projects. And then, oh yeah, I actually forgot in my mind that we also have the 2 Asia teams. So we have a team of 5 that's specifically dedicated for China. And then we have a team of about 5 as well who's dedicated to Japan and South Korea. And so both those teams are working in their own little areas. So we got a really nice, strong team. And then once we launch with Mainnet, we're going to continue to build that out, because we really want people actively going out there into different project telegrams, discords, and starting to demand kind of like as you know, almost not posing as a community member, but like, hey, you guys really should be using TrustSwap. So and obviously that's a pretty like guerrilla style marketing tactic. But long story short, we're going to be getting people boots on the ground, really driving forward so that we can lock in these models that we are launching with these software services. And maybe I will expand on the software services a little bit here. So, you know, for example, it's like we partnered with Unitrade, and everyone's like, oh, you know, so does that mean you're endorsing it? No, it doesn't. We are a software company. I can't stress this enough. You can tell I'm a little fired up about this because, again, like I'm having a tough time in the Discord and Telegram groups right now with just people's ability to make their own decisions anyways, we're a software company. The more people who use our software, the better. Amazon doesn't restrict AWS hosting services because they disagree with the content that's on a website. We're the same way. Our job is to sell software, get people using our software, run fees through the network, and get that back to you guys as stakers. So just because we partner with somebody, let's not convolute that as an endorsement of the project. In fact, we are never going to endorse any project, period. Even if they go through the TrustSwap Launchpad, that's not an endorsement. Again, that's them using our services and them passing our vetting that says, hey, listen, you guys are acceptable to be able to go into our Launchpad. We have very strict stipulations on what goes through our Launchpad, but that doesn't mean that it's an endorsement. So if you guys buy it and then it goes down, that's not on us, that's on you. We're a software company. We sell software, we sell services. Any partnerships just means they're using our software. I don't know how much simpler it can get. Okay. How many are lined up for the Launchpad? So we've had over 30 projects apply. Now, I would say 80% of them are not absolute garbage, but I don't think that they're going to have a very bright future longer than 6 months. So I wouldn't count those. So maybe there's been about 7 or 8 that I've really enjoyed. So right now we have 2 that are 100% in the pipeline. So one is MobiPay and the other one still has to be announced. We actually are probably going to switch MobiPay because MobiPay was number 3 and this one that's still incognito was number 2. We're probably going to switch them. MobiPay will be next. And this other one that has people from like JP Morgan, IBM, Goldman Sachs, that's going to be probably number 3 because they're just still hashing out a couple final things. Right now, we could say 2 are lined up for the Launchpad, and then we have probably like 2 or 3 on deck that are tentative yeses, but we're still in conversations with them, making sure that the tokenomics make sense for the Launchpad raise, making sure the due diligence process is in line. So we're definitely in no shortage, let's put it that way. Are there any plans how many projects will launch each month? Yeah, so this has been a conversation that we've had. So I don't think we want to do more than 2 a month, to be honest. Unless just like the cream of the crop starts coming to us on a weekly basis, we want to make sure that we're not just throwing anything out to the wind. Our number one priority is that Launchpad projects do well. And so 2 a month, it all depends on quality, but 2 a month is kind of like the ballpark that we're looking at right now. And we'll have 2 very, very likely coming up in September here. I can't believe this question has 6 thumbs up. This speaks a lot to the mentality in the group here. What's make swap value continue to go up, not just a pump and dump? I think most of us want to know. Guys, we're tackling multiple multi-billion-dollar industries. All the fees, 80% of them, get distributed to stakers. So you put your swap tokens in there, boom, you're collecting that. Secondly, airdrops and launchpads. So if you have a certain number of swap tokens, you're going to get access to the MobiPay pre-sale, the TCO, Trusted Coin Offering. You're going to get access to Chain Games. You're going to get access to all the future ones. And in addition, you're going to get a ton of airdrops, just essentially literal free money coming to you just for holding these swap tokens. And again, if a project is doing these, you can tell I'm a little bit fired up today. The last few days have actually been quite on edge with these with the community groups, to be honest. Anyways, if we're giving out free money, doesn't mean it's an endorsement. It just means that project wants exposure. And if you guys don't want free money, let me know and we can stop giving you the free money. But honestly, I think it's a net positive for the tokens, whether they're Great projects, middle projects are not so good. Do what you want with the tokens. If you think the project is crap, dump them. I really don't care. These projects just want exposure, and I'm happy to infuse the ecosystem with extra capital. So I think I need to chill out a bit, honestly. Like, I think 95% of people are super awesome in the group. And I've actually just had like a very intense couple days with the workload. That's probably why I'm a bit on edge. But I think that the 5% is what's just really getting to me, because it's those 5% who are the loudest. So I need to take a little mental break from the Telegram and Discord groups. Okay, so anyways, lots of reasons to hold swap, and we're gonna really be doing well in the next little while. Who's my favorite Ninja Turtle? The one with the stick, whoever that one is. I like that stick. And my favorite color. Hard-hitting questions. I'll stick with blue, actually. When Binance, hard-hitting questions, guys, hard-hitting questions. First, we need mainnet, and then let's see what happens. No eyebrow raise on this one, guys. One, maybe I should pre-read these. Can you be my dad is one. What is launching with this initial release of mainnet? Is it just time lock, or is it everything? Subscriptions, time lock, escrow, wrapping, etc. Okay, let me get the full list here, actually, of everything that's going to be launching with mainnet. Let me just scroll super quick. There's, just because like one service, for example, like a single payment, like a one-time payment actually has multiple utilities. Okay, so it's going to be team token locks, investor token locks, escrow services, multiple recurring payments. So that could be, like, for example, employee payments, single event future payments. So that could be something like, set it for Christmas time and it's going to pay someone as a gift, and peer-to-peer token swaps. And so that just won't be one token. You could have multiple tokens as well. So those are the services. Again, that's phase one. We're building out. Crypto subscriptions is hot on the heels. We have a team for that. So that's just gonna be the first one. And I'm quite excited for it, actually. Like, team token locks and investor token locks are gonna be fantastic. I'm really excited for those. And I think that's gonna be really a flag for TrustSwap in the ground, establishing ourselves as a really pivotal service for crypto projects. And everyone, I think, will be starting to veer towards locking in team token locks. So that's the one I'm probably the most excited about, the team token locks. So we'll see how that goes. I'm definitely optimistic. What is actually being audited right now? Everything I just mentioned. Is it all the smart contract or just some? If it isn't all, would there multiple audit rounds to wait for? Yeah, so as we roll out with more software, for example, crypto subscriptions, we'll audit that as well. As we come out with wrapping as a service, we'll audit that as well. As we come out with the DEX, we're going to audit that as well. So everything's going to have its own audit round. So this isn't the one and done. This is just phase one. We're always going to be building. This is a complete DeFi ecosystem. So lots coming. Are you going to lock your swap into the platform as intended until milestones are reached? So I think this is referring to team token locks. And so yes, we put a poll into the Discord group and we said, hey, swap community, what do you want to see? And the overwhelming vote was 4% released monthly, and that's it. So for example, like, let's say we have 8 million tokens, I believe like I have 7.5 mil. So then that's 4% released monthly is what happens. So super simple. And obviously, just because it's released doesn't mean we're selling it. It just means that we have the flexibility. And then in terms of staking, we'll see, because obviously if we're staking, then I don't think I'm going to stake. Well, I'll leave it to the community, honestly. Like, if you guys want me to stake, I will. But I feel like the less people who stake, the more rewards everyone in the staking pool gets. So, if I stake a large share, that takes away from you guys. So I think the team token locks is pretty sufficient. When is the big B? Again, so yeah, mainnet, and you can't say too much with Binance. Well, let's just leave it there. When will Launchpad number 2 be announced? Will it be directly after mainnet, or are we just going to let mainnet run for a little while first? Yeah, so it's not like we're waiting for mainnet for Launchpad number 2. It's, as I mentioned, they're just kind of doing some internal things, and it's not like they're delaying. It's not like I think they're inefficient. It's an incredible project, incredible team. But they're taking their time, as they rightfully should. The project's been being built for the last 2 years. So, I know swap goes fast. We've been live for 60 days. But that's not how everything works all the time, especially with larger projects. Let's just call it that way. So we'll probably do them after MobiPay. Will you ensure that recent holders of Swap have been accumulating Swap frequently get a chance to be selected for a Launchpad allocation? Yep, again, so that's the dash daily average Swap held. Super easy. When is TrustSwap going to get its first customer? Already once we launch on mainnet, once we get the team token locks going, there's going to be a lot rolling in, I guarantee that. And then we've already been approached by a lot of different VCs and institutions. Well, I wouldn't say institutions we've been approached by. We've been approached by people who have direct links with the institutional money deal flow for the escrow services. That's the best way to say it. So we're going to have a lot on the escrow services side as well. Assuming the team locks away their tokens, how much money is at stake for the project to succeed and grow? Assuming it's locked based on performance and merit. Okay, so first off, there's the team tokens, then there's the dev fund tokens. So we have about 15 million tokens in the dev fund. So those are unlocked. Those are going to stay unlocked because we use those for strategic partnerships. We use those for marketing. We use those for tons of things. We need those liquid. It doesn't make any sense to have them locked because then we could just pigeonhole ourselves and like, oh, we need these tokens to build. Anyways, long story short, dev fund tokens, 15 million. Those are going to stay unlocked. The team tokens, those are going to get locked up. Okay. The team token locks are not going to be based on the performance because we don't have that feature built out, because you need to have like a DAO style governance, decentralized autonomous organization, essentially voting governance. We do not have that built yet. So we're just going to lock up 4% releasing monthly. That's what the community voted on. That's what we're going to do. Super simple, super easy. What is the vision for TrustSwap ecosystem 1 year from today? Can you put words to this that the roadmap on TrustSwap.org can't describe? Let me think how to phrase that. You guys saw how wild we went on marketing in our initial phases. That's just to get the word out. Now, think of how crazy we're going to go once the product suite is actually live. Our entire focus, or the majority of it, is going to go from this, just marketing the concept to getting projects and people and VCs and institutions actually using this, talking about it, and sharing it. So we're going to go from, just like this like etherical, hey, here's what we're doing, to like, oh, we are driving it hard. We're going to be onboarding new people to really drive this and pump this, and not the price, the utility. So we're going to be pumping people using this project. And I hate that I have to say these caveats now. You guys have really pushed me into a little bit of a hole with my wording these days. So like I say, I need to take a break from the Discord groups. I'm just going to rock this AMA more often. So long story short, there's going to be a lot happening. I can't, obviously it's impossible to predict. I hate looking at business plans and seeing, oh, we predict $46 billion of revenue in the first quarter. I'm like, you guys have no idea what you're talking about. You need to get the momentum rolling and then make projections based on what you're actually doing. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to work. We're going to make it happen, and we're going to let results speak for themselves. So I'm not going to make a projection on what's going to happen in the next year. Let's say I'm incredibly optimistic, and whatever you guys saw with the initial stages of marketing and how hard we went there, just double that, triple that for what we're going to do on actual business development, because that's really what matters. Can you share anything about liquidity farming with Swap? Can you also talk about the rewards for staking Swap? So yeah, that'll be with SGAS. So for example, if you stake Swap in this particular portal, you're going to get rewarded with SGAS, or you can also stake liquidity pool tokens, Swap ETH liquidity pool tokens, and receive SGAS as well. So we're still working out all those details. No timeline on that one. All right, next up, Chambers, what's up your sleeve? With 8 emojis. We got a lot, guys, on deck. You guys already know about, one big partnership getting announced at Mainnet. We have another partnership that's getting announced. This is I think they're a Fortune 100 company. And so this one we anticipate and we hope to have launched within the first 2 months of Mainnet. So this one's massive. There's a lot going on. There is a lot going on. What is your personal favorite technical? Thank you for a great question. What is your personal favorite technical aspect of TrustSwap and what's been and being built? Those are the questions I want to see. More of those, please. When Binance, come on, guys. So I'm going to go on a limb and say that my favorite aspect that's being built right now is going to be the project services suite. So we're looking at the investor token locks, the project token locks, and the DICO, as well as the transparent accounting. I think too much of crypto is just this weird, seedy, rug pull, exit scam. It's just, there's a lot of unhealthy stuff happening in crypto right now. And I see that what TrustSwap is offering to really be the medicine man to fix all of that. So obviously, I think crypto subscriptions is going to be monumental. I think that escrow services are going to put through a ton of value and capital. But I'm really excited to see kind of the crypto space get brought back to health in a major way. Okay, next one up. I understand Netflix and Spotify are not going to do business with TrustSwap just yet. Instead of going to them, how will TrustSwap make them come to us? They won't. We'll have to go to them. What kind of subscription partners are you looking to make to lay the foundations to finally working with partnering with the likes of Netflix and Spotify? Yeah, so I think it's all methodical. So you start with the smaller companies and you just work your way up from there. So I could list a whole bunch, but I think you guys understand: start small, get bigger, gain momentum, gain traction, gain reputation. That's how the game works. And then obviously getting strategic ins in as well, because I'm not going to pretend that you need a warm intro. Unless you know somebody who can make that happen, it's not going to work. So A, we need to build the foundational on the tech side, and B, we need the connections. So we're working on both. How does the new dev team plan to create a game-changing DEX? We're all jumping from one DEX to the next, but for the best yields and fees. It'll be amazing to see TrustSwap DEX that's hard to compete with and very easy to use. So I don't think people really are jumping from one DEX to another. I think for yields and fees, I think everyone's using Uniswap because it's the best by a mile. So what you want to do, and why is it the best? Because it has the most liquidity and it's decentralized. You don't have KYC, you don't have accounts, you don't have logins, you don't have withdrawal limits. So I think the big one is liquidity though. So you need a DEX that has a lot of liquidity. So obviously, if you launch a DEX, the liquidity starts at zero. But there are ways, you look at Unitrade, Unilayer, they have gone on top of Uniswap, and so they pull from the Uniswap liquidity. So that's an option. I'm not going to speak to the technical details because I'm not the one working on this, but I'll kind of give ideas on what's being talked about. Or you can look at a project like Orion, which pulls liquidity across all exchanges, or let's just say the majority of exchanges. So you can have the liquidity, and then from there it's a feature set. Because what does Uniswap have as a feature set? Well, you can have no KYC, you can have decentralized, you can have no accounts, you can have no limits, you can have all that. So you can go on par with Uniswap, and if you have the liquidity, well then you're looking really, really, really good. Now, so what we're going to have is margin trading, options trading. So now you can go long or go short on different projects with leverage. So a lot of people are looking for that. And obviously everyone knows that these leverage exchanges or derivative exchanges make a ton of money on fees. And so what we're doing is just we're tossing the majority of these fees right back to swap stakers. So it's going to be huge. It's going to be monumental. So that's another reason to hold swap. Okay, another question. As you know, there are other time lock escrow type crypto companies out there, but their marketing and audiences is not the same as yours. How does planning to make sure those companies don't look at your success and try to steal market share from TrustSwap? So first I'll answer that because it's a two-part question. So in terms of time lock, I'm actually trying to think of what company, I know that there's a crypto subscription, it's called Groundhog, but it's just they're not doing anything. Their marketing they're backed by consensus, but it's just, nothing's happening there. So you need marketing, you need adoption, you need noise, you need excitement. So these projects that have started off, momentum is everything. I'll say that. And if you're starting off with slow momentum, it's going to be really hard to gain it. And I mean, you can try to duplicate what we're doing, but if you're duplicating, then you're only attempting to do what we are doing, and you're not going to do it 100%. So we're always going to be 3-5 steps ahead of these guys. So I feel very confident that we're going to take a majority market share on pretty much all of these services because everyone else has had 4 years to get this thing rolling. Nobody's done anything. And just wait and watch, guys. First month. From now on, I just would love to have my actions speak for themselves. So, also has TrustSwap thought about doing business with VCs that can invest in startups where they wouldn't mind taking crypto as an investment funding? Yeah, so exactly. That's exactly what the escrow services is bridging the gap between VCs and crypto companies. Where are all team members based or located? Is there a plan later to be together geographically? Definitely not. We'll probably get together for some kind of like party thing sometime, but and you guys are invited. But no, distributed is the way to go. We all have our own lives. We all have our own families. We all have our own lifestyles. And they're pretty drastically different, actually. So we're all going to be living our own lives, and distributed works great. There's no reason to change that up. I'd like to know if SGAS is planned to be transferable, and it's going to be an ERC20 token on the ETH mainnet or some local coin on the swap network. Pardon me, one sec. Yeah, so 100%. SGAS is going to be fully compatible with the entire Ethereum network, not only allowing you to save transaction fees on the swap network, but on any Ethereum transaction. So it's fully Ethereum chain compatible. Are there any major famous conventions coming up that you are planning to be a speaker at to tell the wider crypto community and other crypto companies about the services TrustSwap offers? We just did the Open Finance Conference in China, and I'll be pretty transparent. Like, I've gone to a lot of crypto conferences, and I don't know if for anyone who's also gone to crypto conferences, I'm speaking the truth here. Nobody cares about the speakers. Literally, nobody cares. Maybe you get a little bit of brand recognition because, your name is on a banner or something, but it's like really soft marketing. It's like you're not going to attract. Where the hard work is done, honestly, is after the conference between the hours of like 9 p.m. till 2, sometimes 3 a.m., when you're like 3, 4, 5 beers deep and you're meeting everyone and chatting and discussing synergies and having fun. And that's where the magic happens. So definitely once COVID eases up, I'll be doing the conference tour, meeting people, networking. That's where the magic happens. It doesn't happen from me talking on a stage to 30 people who are listening, and 10 of them aren't just on their phones passively absorbing. So these conference speaking fees are insane too. It's like $20,000 to get, at least, if you want a main stage gig. So I don't really think it's worth it. I'm all about the networking aspect, though. I think that's incredibly worth it. Just get to the conference, meet the people. It's just like it's a melting pot of great minds, and I've had a lot of great connections come from there. Okay, next one. In your triple announcement, you are saying the majority of all collected fees from this DEX will go exclusively to swap stakers. May we have those exact proportions? Nope, we don't have those yet. It will be the majority, though. And again, this is down the line, guys. So, like as well as the DEX and the SGAS, like we're still hashing things out. So it's in progress, and we'll announce details as they come. Chris O, I already like how this one starts. Gilded Finance. Will the Gilded Finance transaction application be for tracking all transactions, that's wordy, of all ERC20 from Web3 wallets or just from swap transactions? Gotcha, great question. Will this be a service, will this a paid service or simply a smart contract to interact with? That's a great question as well. So far, I think that's my number one or my number two favorite question, Chris O. So it's going to work across all ERC20. So Gilded is its own thing. So obviously it can integrate with the TrustSwap network. So transactions that happen on Swap will, have this transparent accounting. But Gilded is its own thing as well. So for example, you can sign up to Gilded, and I'm not 100% sure on their model, but obviously there's going to be some kind of pay to play thing. I believe like it's a freemium thing from what I understand. So you can interact with Gilded across the entire ERC20 network. Then anything within the swap network, you will be able to have, we'll hash out those details in between swap and Gilded. But let's just say the consumer won't be paying on the swap side of things. Now, if you want to use Gilded on a larger scale, which I'd say do it, then I believe there might be some kind of freemium model. Apologies for not knowing 100% how their stuff works. The guys at Gilded are freaking awesome. I love those guys. They're great guys. There is so much going on around you which needs your attention. How do you allocate your time to a project and decide which project gets more attention than the other? Because let's face it, there are only so many hours in a day to do something. How do you balance your work and family? What are you going to do about these? Okay, so first one, time allocation. So setting a priority list is really, really easy for me. So you just, beginning of the day, just sit down, take 10 minutes. Okay, what's happening today? What are my priorities? And it's kind of like the red, I have like a red, orange, green thing. Like if it's super pressing, I just put in like this column. If it's not, so I just knock out all the red stuff, knock out all the orange stuff. And obviously, like usually the red stuff, the really pressing stuff is the most boring and arduous. So I'll sprinkle things in, but I always try to knock down that really big priority list. And that goes across TrustSwap and Uptrend as well, obviously. So, and I have a lot of other things going on also. And then for family just always takes priority number one. That's just how it is. So yeah, family wants to chat, I'm chatting with them. What are you going to do about all these whale dumps? I literally could care less, honestly. This isn't like we've been live for what, 60 days? You know, what happens now in terms of price action is, I don't want to say it's completely irrelevant, but it almost is completely irrelevant. What is going to happen in the next year is going to be absolutely monumental. I can't stress that enough. And so honestly, when I see people dumping, I just smile a little inside. When I see people, you know, just pulling the parachute and like, oh, that's it. You know, we went, like, here's what makes me laugh. In one day, let's say we started, this actually happened yesterday. We started at like 65 cents and everyone was, oh, we're dead, we're dying. And then we pumped to like, what was it, 93 cents. Oh, TrustSwap's the future. And now we're back down to 60 some cents. Oh, guys, nothing has changed. Physically, nothing has changed. It's just market volatility based on Bitcoin's performance, yada, yada. Again, I've been pigeonholed. I can't say too much about price action. This is a long game, okay? I'm really happy to shake out the short-term traders. I understand that's part of the ecosystem, but what I love to do is to reward people who believe in the vision long-term. That's what daily average swap held is doing. And so people who get shaken out, it just makes me smile because then it allows you guys who've been holding for the long-term to actually be rewarded and put in front. If the whales get shaken out, that's great news for you because guess who isn't in the launch pad? Them. Guess who is in the launch pad? You guys. Guess who's getting the airdrop? You guys. So I love it. In a way, I love it because I know what's happening behind the scenes. I know how we're going to be able to execute on this. And so I'm just incredibly optimistic and enthusiastic with how this is all going to shake out. So bring on the whale dumps. Bring them on. Who cares? This is what, 60 days in? Guys, have you thought about leveraging your partnerships with Unilayer and Unitrade to have them build on top of TrustSwap's DEX instead of Uniswap? Maybe it's something like Unilayer or TrustLayer or TrustTrades. Yeah, it'll be our own DEX. We're going to be building our own DEX, so we won't partner up with those guys in that regard because it's going to be different. It's just a different suite of services, and honestly, I only like building on things that I can fully control. So I don't want to be partnered with anybody because I feel that sometimes ideologies can be conflicting or work ethic or like I work really hard, really fast, and so does the whole TrustSwap team. And I don't know those other guys all too well. So, and I feel like they're anonymous. So that's not something I'm interested in. We want to have full control over it and make sure that things are rolling out in a strong way. Any insider projects you can share before they pump? Come on, guys. I bought in at $1.20. Am I financially ruined? I'm going to start pre-vetting these questions. Or maybe we need a mod to just go in and delete all these so I don't have to see them. You mentioned that a ton is happening at TrustSwap. Can you share with the community something that is happening currently that you have yet to mention in announcements? No, if I haven't announced it, there's a reason. I think you guys understand by now that I'm completely transparent. As things happen, I let you know about them. So there's nothing up my sleeve that I am allowed to say right now. It's been a week since the Japan marketing started. Do you have data results of the marketing efforts so far? Yeah, and I can share those. Which other major market is TrustSwap planning next? Right now, yeah, like we're just going English, China, South Korea, and Japan. Those are the markets we're hitting right now. Not just investors, but for new clients. Foreign exchanges are great, but that's not where clients go to find business partners. Finally, from a business start point, what are your realistic revenue goals that TrustSwap has set for 2021? Okay, so yeah, our strong suit is the English market. We got North America, we got Europe, you got Australia, you got other places around the world. That's where we're going to be going the hardest, because that's where I'm the most connected. That's where the team is the most connected. We have some links in with China, Japan, South Korea. But so we're going to be biz deving and integrating our software across all of there. But the main focus is going to be in English first, and just like really establish ourselves there, because it's from what I've seen with the Japan and the other language marketing pushes, it's difficult for me to like get a pulse on how effective they've been. Oh hey, we've been published in this publication, but like okay, but like it's hard for me to see the KPIs really. So we're going to be really going hard on English. Then in terms of revenue goals, again, I'm not going to set any revenue goals. We're going to go hard, and I'm going to let our actions speak for themselves. What kind of interest is there in smart locks? Are there companies in the pipeline? Yes. Waiting to use this service upon launch? Yes, definitely. And you've already seen Unilay or Unitrade wanting to embed the smart locks feature or like the stamp directly onto their UI. So smart locks are going to be huge. They're going to be absolutely massive. I've even seen stuff, people being like, oh, Jeff, you say massive, monumental. Should I use Trump language? It's going to be big. It's going to be the biggest. Nobody does it bigger than me. Nobody. We're going to have the most locks. It's going to be huge. Big. Sorry that I used larger words. Is it possible to let the community know how big the TrustSwap team? Yep. That's, I already mentioned that. And any team member group photo? Nope, because we're distributed. Will you have Metamask for staking, or will the portal have options for all wallets? Yep. So we have full wallet connect. So tons of different wallets are connected here. Swap gas. This is a big question. Swap gas yield farming link. When addressing swap gas in the third part update recently, you stated it was introducing a yield farming portal to the project. However, in order to receive gas, we will also need to stake swap. First question is this really farming? Okay, thank you for breaking it down in part questions. Yes. So yield farming is stake X, get Y. So stake swap, get swap gas. Since we aren't having to stake ETH in a pool in order to get gas. Well, so again, there's going to be two ways to farm it. And again, we're working all this out. So this is all hearsay right now, or just what's anticipated. So what's anticipated is that you'll be able to stake one, swap, and two, you'd be also able to stake the swap ETH liquidity pool token, which will yield a higher return. And then you would be staking swap and ETH, and that will yield higher returns than just staking swap. Second, are you concerned that the farming term to the project, since it also has some negative opinions on it going around the cryptoverse? So it only has negative opinions, guys, because the projects who are using farming are giving out like 10 bajillion % APY. Farming itself is an actually very intelligent concept. Stake this, get that. It makes a lot of sense. And when you develop it in a sustainable ecosystem, it's actually a very, very good thing. The reason why it has negative connotations is because these APY things are completely unsustainable, and that's where all the money's moving. So it seems like everybody's going to these massive APYs, which is what's happening. And then they're just, it's like pump, dump, pump, dump. It's this big game of cat and mouse, or like chicken. Who's gonna drop out first? How long is people gonna stay in? But yeah, for example, like APY, banks use that. You looked at before this crazy DeFi craze, there was like Compound or whatever projects offering like 10%. So there's like, it was happening, but now it got out of hand with this whole farming thing, because it was tokens based on nothing with no utility. And so I think that's really important to highlight with swap gas, is that there actually is utility. Yeah, so I don't want anyone to think that swap is in any way connected to scam projects. So yeah, I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant here. So just because we use the same system that a project has scammed in doesn't mean anything. How many projects have launched on Ethereum that have been scams? Oh, so many. Swap launched on Ethereum. Does that make us a scam? No. If something uses a certain style of rewarding people, does that mean that everyone else who uses that style is a scam? Definitely not. If this person who gave away gift cards, they scammed them, and you're giving away gift cards, that means you're a scam. That's not how it works, guys. You have to put on your actual thinking caps and look at it from a holistic point of view. So if people think that just because we're doing this means we're a scam, honestly, that's fine. I'm very happy to have more educated people involved in the TrustSwap ecosystem, and we can shake everyone else out. I am very confident in where we're going to be heading with all this, and my tolerance level for people who are just really shitting on us for no reason because of their lack of education. And I'm not calling you out here, the person who made this comment, just in general. That's fine. This is also my concern. So I can't believe this. This happened right before. Okay, so this is also my concern with getting involved with sushi. We didn't get involved with sushi, guys. We didn't This blows my mind to pieces. I made an announcement saying, hey guys, we got added to a yield farming portal where you can stake swap liquidity pool tokens and receive this yield thing. I'm not advocating for the yield. I'm not saying go in this yield. All I'm doing is highlighting that this exists. And the reason that I'm highlighting it exists because, well, why don't you just not talk about it? It's because people are going to come to the Telegram or the Discord room and start asking questions about it. And guess what's going to happen? People who have no idea what they're talking about are going to start giving answers and misinformation. We can't have that. I'm not a fan of people being misinformed. I want to just lay the cards out on the table and let people make their own decisions. So that's why we announced that we got added to the portal, so that people can make their own decisions. We highlighted a high risk. We're just here. This is not an endorsement at all. And the only thing related with sushi is I said it was a fork of sushi. So it's literally not even related to sushi at all. And yet this is, I think, the third or fourth time I have seen somebody saying, why are you guys getting involved with sushi? Guys, please read. Or don't. I feel like I just need, like I say, I need to throw my hands up in the air. Like, this community moderation has been the most. Here's a statement. Out of building the entire company, the most painstaking process is the community moderation. And I know I've been a mod of like these crypto groups for the last, I run the world's 2 largest, most engaged Facebook crypto groups. And I think because with those ones, if someone's, let's just call it as it is, if someone's being an idiot, I just block them. Because I'm like, listen, this is a group of friends together helping each other. You say something stupid or you're trying to cramp the vibe, just get out. This is a group of friends that started as friends, and that's how it's always going to stay. Whereas that's not the case with TrustSwap, because obviously people have something vested in there. So we obviously don't want to just ban everybody. But so that's why it's been so taxing, just because people just really with misinformation coming in as if they have the 100% correct opinion has just been really difficult to manage. So I think you guys are going to start seeing me a lot less in the groups, just because I need it for my mental health, and I just need to divert it to the moderators. Tag me if you want an answer in something, but I need to start taking some steps back because it is taking an impact on my mental health, honestly, and it's taken away my productivity. So I think where you guys need me is working, building the product. You don't need me in the Telegram, the Discord groups. I'll do these AMAs, and I think that'll be a really good thing. Don't you feel we have enough use cases not to get involved with the farming space, or do you think it's an advantage right now? So the more utility we can add, the better to the token. And again, I've already went over why it's a benefit. If you're staking ETH and swap into whether it's the SGAS pool or the yield pool or whatever other pools we get added to, that just means we're adding liquidity to swap. We're adding buy pressure to swap. So that's a net positive. Oh, man, charged. What are the ETAs on the DEXs and swap gas updates mentioned? No ETA at all. I'm not gonna give that. Yield farming tokens have shown insane demand for ERC20 tokens, and the Ethereum network inability to handle such demand. How will TrustSwap manage the gas crisis? And will you be working for interoperability with other chains like Polkadot, Neo, or DAI? So let's just break it down. So the gas crisis, we're doing S-gas. So we're going to make gas fees way cheaper for not only people within the TrustSwap ecosystem, but also within the Ethereum ecosystem. And will we be working for interoperability with other chains like Polkadot? So we'll be opening up that conversation, but also we have the wrapping as a service, which is our own proprietary cross-chain modality. So you can wrap any chain onto Ethereum. Now going from Ethereum to other chains, that's not something that we have in the pipeline for ourselves, but we're always exploring different options. Do you plan to list all the future Launchpad projects on Uniswap after the pre-sale? Uniswap is a DEX, so you can list anything gets listed on Uniswap after after it goes live. Will TrustSwap require Launchpad projects to provide evidence of an audit prior to being allowed to proceed with the launch? So hard answer on that one, no. I think people are looking at TrustSwap as like they're like their custodian or guardian or mom and dad, and like telling them, yeah, this is safe, or like, look both ways before crossing. Guys, make your own decisions. Okay, we're vetting projects that go through the Launchpad, but we're not doing everything for you. And even if we were, we're never going to give the stamp of approval for legal reasons that we endorse something. Ever. Never going to endorse something that is A, outside of our control, or B, you just can't do that. So we're never going to endorse something, and because of that, we're only doing so much due diligence, and we're letting you guys make the decisions. Okay, like I mentioned, there's been over 30 projects who applied to the Launchpad. We've accepted 3. We're looking at a couple others. So we are vetting them, and we're only going to let quality go on there, but quality is our subjective opinion. So it's up to you guys. So you're not going to require an audit to go on the TrustSwap Launchpad. You guys have to use your own brains. Then he follows it up. I say this because you was okay with promoting an unaudited project within the Discord announcements, which I feel was out of character by yourself. If camera wasn't on a big stand, I'd just show my computer that it says, this is not an endorsement. This is not an endorsement. I don't know how many times. Do I need to put it in like size 72 font for you guys? It's not an endorsement. I'm getting so charged, guys. And I know this is just the 5% that are the loudest. But man, no project, partnered or otherwise, is an endorsement of myself or TrustSwap. I feel like a broken record here. And you can tell, this is my energy is way different than the last AMA. I need to stick out of these Discord groups. All right, next question from Dashley. Will there be a Binance listing anytime soon? Guys, that's where I'm going to stop. That's it for me now. I'm going to have moderators pre-vetting these questions in the future so that I can just roll through, answer super intelligent questions that actually have like legitimate answers to them. And I'll be a little bit less active in the Discord and Telegram, start focusing more on the project and product itself. And I'm going to let the mods do their thing. Anyways, we'll fire up another AMA soon. I'll try to keep these more frequent because I will start to be less active in the groups just for my own goddamn mental health, guys. So anyways, check you guys later.